Caitlin Clark's new Kobe PE shoe sold out in less than a minute. And I saw so many tweets about this, so many people who were so sad that they've missed out on this shoe. I saw that there was this one Dick's store and people were lined up around the corner, like camping out, trying to get the shoe.
Nike finally delivers Caitlin Clark PE. Is this the first Caitlin Clark exclusive Nike commercial since she's entered the WNBA? I know she's made a cameo here, she's made a cameo there, she was featured as part of this rollout here, featured as part of this rollout there, but is this our first official Caitlin Clark solo commercial?
What if I told you that Nike just watched their $1 million investment crash and burn, while a rookie with no signature line sold out her sneakers in under 60 seconds? This isn't just a story about shoes. It's a story about ego, timing, and a brutal reality check. Caitlin Clark's Nike Kobe PE dropped, and the internet exploded. We're talking website crashes, people lining up around the block, and resale prices hitting $600 before the shoes were even an hour old. Meanwhile, Aya Wilson, the face Nike tried to force on the public for years, is watching her own sneakers quietly slide into clearance bins. And the drama? Oh, it's deeper than sales numbers. For 2 years, Nike poured everything into Wilson. Custom logos, personal messages from her grandma etched into the soles, even a campaign directed by Malia Obama. Yet with all that hype, her shoes barely moved. And just when they thought they had the game on lock, Caitlin Clark walks in. No logo, no promo tour, no fuss, drops one collab and breaks the system. But this isn't just about sneakers. This is about who really moves culture, who brands bet on, and why Nike's finally waking up. So why did Wilson's line flop? Why is Caitlin Clark dominating headlines without even trying? And what does this say about the future of women's sports, sneaker culture, and the stories brands choose to sell us? Stay tuned, because what's happening behind the scenes is even messier than you think. In a stunning retail moment that took less than 60 seconds, Caitlin Clark's limited edition Nike Kobe PE sneakers sold out entirely, triggering widespread commentary across social media platforms and sparking long lines at stores nationwide. Reports from various outlets show fans camping outside sporting goods retailers like Dick's Sporting Goods, anxiously awaiting their chance to secure a pair. This massive surge in demand highlights an unmistakable shift in public perception and market power within the WNBA. Clark, the rookie phenomenon, has not only brought attention to women's basketball but has also upended the traditional marketing pecking order. For Nike, a corporation long known for its calculated branding strategy, this product drop proved to be a double-edged sword. On one hand, the company witnessed a historic spike in consumer engagement. On the other, it faced backlash for having previously sidelined Clark in favor of Aya Wilson, a veteran whose signature line has failed to generate similar commercial excitement. Clark's meteoric rise in visibility and her ability to ignite digital traffic to the point of nearly crashing Nike's website paints a stark contrast against Wilson's stagnant sales figures and underwhelming online presence, creating an uncomfortable conversation within sports marketing circles about how athletic stardom is measured in the age of viral fame and real-time consumer response. Nike's strategic investments over the past 2 years tell a story of commitment, but possibly to the wrong narrative. Aya Wilson, a multi-time WNBA MVP and Olympic gold medalist, was at the center of the brand's campaign to spotlight Black excellence in women's sports. From custom logos inspired by her family's heritage to creative direction handled by Malia Obama, Nike spared no expense in building Wilson's signature line into a heartfelt tribute to her personal story. Yet the rollout, meticulously planned and heavily publicized, yielded disappointing commercial results. Even with every advantage, teaser trailers, influencer marketing, and exclusive retail placements, the shoes didn't fly off shelves. In fact, they're reportedly on track to hit clearance. This raises uncomfortable questions for Nike. Despite every resource poured into Wilson's brand, the consumer response has been tepid at best. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark's product drop, without a signature line, without a personal logo, and without a major campaign push, sold out within minutes and sparked a frenzy on resale sites like StockX and GOAT, where prices immediately tripled. This disparity has sparked debates across the sports and sneaker communities about authenticity, market demand, and whether legacy metrics like accolades and tenure should still define well-defined brand investment priorities. The corporate miscalculation on Nike's part has not gone unnoticed by former executives. Jordan Rodgers, a former Nike basketball marketing head, openly criticized the brand for nearly letting its golden goose slip away. He pointed out that, while the company was busy crafting Wilson's brand identity from the ground up, they ignored the undeniable momentum building around Caitlin Clark. That oversight was reflected in Nike stock, which had already slumped to a 5-year low. As Rodgers and other analysts note, it wasn't just a poor marketing judgment, it was a fundamental misunderstanding of cultural relevance. Clark, who had been wearing repurposed Kobe sneakers throughout college and her early WNBA career, had already been creating viral moments and record-breaking performances that drove massive engagement. And while Nike focused its attention elsewhere, brands like Gatorade, State Farm, and Wilson Basketball were quick to see Clark's crossover appeal and locked her into endorsement deals that extended far beyond the hardwood. Her presence alone was proving to be a brand's dream scenario, highly visible, highly followed, and highly bankable, long before Nike ever gave her a proper solo spotlight. The economic impact of Caitlin Clark's emergence is staggering. Analysts estimate that Clark generated over $82 million in economic activity for the state of Iowa during her collegiate career alone, a figure that includes ticket sales, merchandise, tourism, and broadcast rights. Those numbers reflect a seismic cultural influence, especially when compared with her contemporaries. Wilson's on-court success has been undeniable, but her market impact hasn't scaled in a similar way. Nike's earlier decision to center its women's basketball investment on Wilson was understandable from a legacy standpoint, but in hindsight, it ignored where the fan energy was actually surging. Clark's transition to the WNBA didn't just carry her college fans over, it expanded her brand into something more transcendent. Little girls wear her jersey to games. Parents post videos of their kids mimicking her logo threes. Every arena she visits sees a noticeable ticket boost. This isn't just about basketball. It's about how Clark has become a modern symbol of athletic inspiration, and in that light, the company's delayed pivot toward her not only looks reactive but risks appearing out of touch with its own customer base. The contrast in launch execution between Clark and Wilson's Nike products also reveals a deeper truth about authenticity and organic influence. Clark didn't need the glitz and polish of a coordinated marketing campaign. She didn't require a team of stylists, a personalized font, or cinematic storyboarding. One post on social media showcasing her shoe was enough to trigger a retail landslide. In contrast, Wilson's rollout, despite being well-funded and thoughtfully constructed, felt forced to some consumers. The sentiment online reflected a perception that Wilson's image was being manufactured rather than organically embraced. This difference in public perception, between a grassroots hero and a corporate project, contributed heavily to the sales outcomes. Clark's drop felt like an event fans couldn't miss. Wilson's, by comparison, resembled an assignment fans were guilt-tripped into supporting. For a company like Nike, which has built its empire on cultural intuition and trendsetting, this misfire served as a wake-up call that no amount of marketing muscle can replicate what the public truly wants to rally around. While Wilson has been vocal about her journey and expectations for respect in the sport, the video suggests that her messaging often crossed into a realm of entitlement rather than empowerment. In media interviews and social commentary, she has expressed frustration over being overlooked or underappreciated, and when Clark entered the scene and immediately captured the public's imagination, some of Wilson's remarks were interpreted as veiled critiques. The video references a controversial Time magazine interview in which Wilson is said to have questioned the disparities in media attention, comments made while her own Nike deal was still under wraps. Critics argue that instead of embracing the moment and celebrating the rise of another women's sports icon, Wilson allowed jealousy or resentment to shape the narrative. In doing so, she may have unintentionally fed a divisive storyline that hurt not only her image but also the unity within the women's basketball community at large. The takeaway is stark. While Wilson lobbied for recognition, Clark earned it through performance, charisma, and connection. Perhaps the most glaring irony in this story is that Caitlin Clark's first major sneaker release wasn't even a true signature shoe. shoe. It was a collaboration with the Kobe line, technically a player edition and not a custom line designed for her. Yet the demand and cultural weight of that drop overshadowed years of Nike's efforts with Wilson. This underscores a critical point in branding. The product is only as powerful as the person behind it. Fans didn't line up because the sneaker said Kobe. They lined up because it said Clark. It's a distinction that fundamentally changes how brands should approach athlete partnerships. In Clark, Nike has found a generational talent whose mere involvement elevates product perception. Even the absence of her own logo didn't stop the Clark Cobes from becoming the most buzzed-about release of the year. That energy, that gravitational pull, is something no marketing agency can fabricate, and that's what makes Clark such an anomaly. She brings her own ecosystem of interest wherever she goes. The racial narrative attached to this rivalry has added another complicated layer to the discourse. Supporters of Wilson have argued that her contributions are devalued because of race, while critics say that framing Clark's rise as privilege diminishes her hard-earned success. The video argues that Wilson had the chance to ease tensions and unite fans by acknowledging Clark's rightful place in the spotlight, but chose instead to stay silent, or worse, add fuel to a conversation that didn't need division. In a sports landscape already saturated with political undertones, this controversy reflects how quickly good faith discussions about fairness can devolve into harmful identity battles. The key argument from the video is that Clark's story should be celebrated for what it is, an athlete capturing the public's imagination through sheer talent and poise. Introducing accusations that she was given her moment rather than earning it risks alienating fans who see her as a beacon of hope in a sport long needing fresh faces. Former Nike insiders and marketing experts believe the brand waited too long to recognize the full scale of Caitlin Clark's appeal. The company's infrastructure couldn't even handle the demand for her first shoe drop, with its servers reportedly crashing due to overwhelming traffic. This level of unplanned success should have been anticipated, especially given the resale market's reaction. Within hours of release, Clark's Kobe PEs were selling for $350 to $600, a figure that reflects not just product scarcity but immense consumer demand. Meanwhile, Wilson's sneakers remained widely available at retail. For Nike, a company that prides itself on foresight and brand awareness, this moment highlighted a lapse in vision that could have been far more costly had they not corrected course when they did. The digital response, the resale surge, and the cultural conversation all served as a triple alarm bell that the brand was no longer in control of the narrative, the consumer was. As the dust settles, the implications for Nike and the broader sports branding world are profound. Clark's ascendancy isn't just a marketing win, it's a signal that the game has changed. The old formula of awards, years played, and media training no longer guarantee influence. What fans crave now is relatability, resonance, and a feeling that the person on the screen, or on the sneaker, is someone they believe in. Clark represents that new era, and Nike's belated recognition of her star power reflects the industry's ongoing recalibration. Wilson's shoes will still find an audience, especially among loyal WNBA fans, but Clark's reach goes further. She's a crossover superstar who resonates with people who don't even follow basketball. That's not something you can plan for. It's something you either recognize in time or miss entirely. For Nike, this wasn't just a marketing story. It was a lesson in humility, timing, and listening to the voice of the consumer. And for Caitlin Clark, it was confirmation that she's not just part of the WNBA's future, she is the future.